Well, first tonight, a new report says a record number of people in the United States died by suicide last year. That includes hundreds of people right here in West Michigan. And local advocates say more needs to be done now to get people help. Fox 17's Marisa Oberly joins us live in studio to explain their proposed solutions. Marisa.
Yeah, Jamie, definitely an issue for a lot of people here in West Michigan. According to that report, the country's suicide rate reached its highest level since World War II. And that is driven in large part by the deaths of older men. However, decreases among younger age groups encourage the people I spoke to that these numbers can be changed. Becky Olson and Scott Dykstra share a pain no one wants to endure.
Put a lot of stress on their family, right? And a lot of relationships kind of almost got to the breaking point.
The Kent County Friends explained they each lost a loved one to suicide. Scott's brother Keith.
Very shy, but once you got to know him, he had the funny side to him.
Who worked as a custodian, died in 2003, while the grief for Becky came a few years later in 2011 when her father, Dennis, passed away.
He was always described as the light of the party and making everybody laugh. He had a hearty laugh. It's really hard to picture him without a smile on his face. He loved sports.
Both believe no other person should go through what their families did, but recent data shows that may take time. This past week, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention released a new report which found more than 49,000 people died by suicide in 2022, the highest number ever recorded in the country. According to the agency, the suicide rate increased more among females than males, although it's 4 times more likely for a man to die by suicide. Broken down by age, the report shows the suicide rate for males 45 to 54 and 55 to 64 years old jumped 6 and 10% respectively. The numbers for men under the age of 34, though, dropped. Similar trends held true for women, too.
Stand up, have conversations. Don't be afraid to do so. In order for communities to thrive, people need to be there.
Shane McNichols, a licensed clinical social worker in Grand Rapids, says it's difficult to clearly answer why the number of suicides reached an all-time high, but adds the decline among kids and younger adults may be due to their willingness to use social media platforms and other resources.
I work with quite a few people in that demographic who utilize 988 when they're struggling as well, to just have an anonymous opportunity to just really share themselves. So I think if more people would lean into technology and to be able to use that as an opportunity to not only see that they're not struggling by themselves, but then use the resources, I think that would be helpful across the board.
She notes warning signs of suicide include extreme changes in behavior and language that talks about being a burden to others. According to Shane, those concerned should ask that person questions about their emotional well-being, then offer to get them help. Becky and Scott agree. Both now volunteer with the West Michigan Survivors of Suicide Loss and say people's actions can avoid pain.
The more accessible we can make this, not only from free resources like a phone call or just placing that number in very easy to access places, is a place to start. And then also having more community resources that are free and the people trained, like the Kent County Sheriff's Office, to know how to intervene when there's a crisis, so that we can do more of that on the ground and frontline intervention would be my wish.
Becky and Scott recommended a number of other resources here in the West Michigan area, including the Mental Health Foundation of West Michigan, I Understand, and Be Better Holland. You can find links to all of those on our website at fox17online.com. Reporting in the studio tonight, Marisa Oberly, Fox 17 News.
Thank you, Marisa. Remember, the 988 National Suicide Hotline is always available for free to anyone thinking about harming themselves. It's staffed 24/7 all year round.